Welcome back. You're watching NewsX with me, Malvika. US President Donald Trump has renewed threats to deploy the National Guard to Chicago, sharing an image on Truth Social that depicted the city under attack. In his post, the US President wrote, and I quote, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War." The AI-generated image showed Trump wearing a black cavalry hat, aviator sunglasses, and dark clothing, standing in front of Lake Michigan with the Chicago skyline behind him. Smoke and fire spread across the background with 5 helicopters hovering overhead. The words "Shipocalypse" now appearing in lettering. So those, of course, that of course is the tweet over there that you can see on your screens. My colleague Aditya Vadhavan is joining us on the broadcast. Aditya, take us through this latest post made by the US President. He's of course spoken of deportations and issued renewed threats to Chicago as well. Yes, Aditya, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Aditya, take us through this latest post and this renewed threat made by US President Donald Trump.
Absolutely, Malvika. Such threats, this tariff threats are being, made by U.S. President Donald Trump, as to how, he has been saying that if India continues to buy Russian oil and, give fire to Russia's war in Ukraine, definitely it will have consequences for India. And on the other hand, he's also giving some contradicting statements wherein he is saying that, he wants that India should be there at the United Nations General Assembly session, which is scheduled to be held in New York. There are a couple of issues, at this juncture. He has been giving such contradictory statements with respect to India, and now it needs to be seen, how in the times to come the scenario unfolds. Yes, Malvika.
Well, Aditya, thank you for joining us with those details. I also have Karori Singh, Foreign Affairs expert, joining me on the broadcast. So thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us here on NewsX. We're of course looking at US President Donald Trump's latest post. He's once again issued renewed threats to Chicago, as of course we've been seeing this war between the US President and the Chicago administration in recent times. But this tweet by the US President, where he's speaking of deportations, and he's in fact saying that "I love the smell of deportations in the morning." What do you make of this tweet and this blatant threat that he's issuing on his social media platform?
You see, the President Trump's style is like that. He is the tariff-obsessed, immigration phobic president. So, in order to deal the problem of immigration, he is right from his electoral campaign. He is saying that immigrants are criminals. They are from the prisons of different countries. They are disrupting the American social life, and so on and so forth. And for that, first he used the National Guard in California. And there was a sort of divide between the California governor and the president. And California governor threatened president that if you will stop the federal grant to California, we will stop paying the tax to federal government. And now it's the Chicago issue. So you see, in the American Constitution, there is a provision that president, with the approval of Congress, can deploy the military or the National Guard in the 2 conditions. First is if there is the war from outside, from the other country, or second, there is a revolt within the country. So both the conditions are not being fulfilled, either Chicago or California. So it's the governor is saying it's illegal. President cannot deploy the National Guard and military in any of the state. Either is the pretext of the immigration or any other pretext. So they are raising the constitutional questions, and that is why President is repeatedly issuing so many executive orders, most of which are already in the judicial process, and some of the orders have already been stayed. So president is becoming more proactive in issuing the order. Even it's an encroachment on the mandate of the Congress itself. So even Congress is not happy with the president's executive orders. If president is not supposed to encroach upon the rights and the powers of the Congress, so situation is becoming complex in the American society, and there may be some kind of conflict between center and state, and there may be a center-state conflict may create the more disruption within the American politics and society. Yes.
Sir, also, what do you make of this very open threat being made by a president of a country to a state? What does this say about, the United States administration and as well as democracy in the country, to have a sitting president just blatantly issue threats to another state and its governor? Of course, we've seen Trump threatening to deploy National Guard to Chicago as well.
You see, it's not the first instance when President of United States is issuing threat to the provinces or the states or the governor. It's repeatedly he is doing that thing. Earlier also he issued threat to so many governors that I will stop the federal grant. And then one governor told, I will go to the court. So he told you, what you can go to the court, I will dismiss you. Something like that. He is threatening, not only one threat, but threat by threat he is regularly threatening. And this type of American policy, both at domestic level and international level, I must say it's a saber-rattling policy of United States. So it's disturbing domestic politics as well as it is having implications for the international relations and world order as well. So it's a serious threat to the American society, American democracy, as well as the global world order. So the American society, which is known as the oldest democracy, is under strains as well. So the keeping in mind the personality and orientation of President Trump is not the healthy sign for American democracy, which the other countries are considering most ideal model of democracy. So that idealism and that image of the model democracy has already been distorted before the global community. Yes. Over.
Sir, as you spoke of the world order as well, that this has implications for not just domestic policy but also international policy of the United States as well. Trump has also mentioned his Department of War in this tweet. What do you make of the United States president, moving to rename the Department of Defense as a Department of War? What does this speak of America's foreign policy currently as well?
You see, Trump himself has defined Department of Defense means US is defensive. US is not taking proactive steps at the global level. So we have renamed it. Earlier also it was the Department of War. But at that point of time, there was no coordination between the naval command or air command or the infantry. So because of that, the US had certain problems. So to bring it in different type of coordination, he is establishing the War Department. Because when earlier it was the War Department, the problem at that point of time was Navy was under the different department, the Air Force was under the different department. So the coordination and collaboration among these commands was not possible at that point of time. So I think he is making it more integrated to establish the American hegemony and in fact not only establish but sustain the American hegemony in the fragmented world, because world is fragmented. It's not the globe divided world. Though some of the media reporters, they are saying the axis is emerging, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and other side, the US-led forces, but not that kind of situation. All the countries are pursuing the different type of foreign policy. China foreign policy is to leadership style. The Indian foreign policy is to managerial style, just to manage the affairs on all sides. American is the saber rattling policy style. Russian is to becoming nostalgic. Iran's policy style is to get some leverages. And whereas other countries, smaller countries, they are saying the multipolar world or the unipolar world, how their interests are served. They are more concerned about the equality, about their interest. So even the smaller countries, they are not making much distinction between unipolar and multipolar world. Whereas the middle range power, great powers, they are saying the multipolar world will be better than the unipolar world. So such kind of situation is emerging at the global level. And when US wants to sustain its hegemony through military force, technological control, so the US is using two means. One is the military force and to provide military assistance, weaponize the world, and also to strengthen the technological advancement. That is the American style.
Well, sir, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective.